Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. That's Ian Boyd. Thank you for watching. Make sure if you're here, you're liking the video, you're subscribing to the channel. Got a lot of great spring practice stuff. We've also got a lot of great shorts that have popped up over the past few days, so make sure you are checking the feed for that. But, of course, we got to ask people. You got to head to InsideTexas.com. Join for 50% off. Use that first link in our description. Use that QR code at the top left where you can read all of our great spring practice coverage. Had a few people out there on Monday for day one, out there for day two yesterday, and we'll be out there as long as Texas lets us. Also, we got great inside intel. Eric Naline has already started a Q&A over on the message board at Inside Texas. So go join, 50% off, and you're going to want to stick around once that sale is done. Anyway, so come check it out. And for 50% off, you can get all the great practice takeaways. Before we dive into some of the big stuff that you wrote about, Ian, just kind of curious, Ian, what are some things that have caught your eye from maybe practice reports or anything else so far after a couple days of spring football?
I like that Lacey looks good early. I think that people are sleeping on Lacey as the starting quarterback next year. Getting too ahead of themselves with some of the Diabell anointing you see here and there. And excited to see Jermaine Bishop. He looks like Xavier Worthy 2.0, yeah.
Good call.
Man, I don't know if anybody's going to be 4.2 fast. And I'm curious.
They look alike, Joe. He's right.
Didn't he run something insane in the 100 meter? I thought I saw he'd run like some low, insanely low.
He's not a 4.22 kid, but he's like a potential 4.29 kid.
Yeah, and he's a 22-mile-an-hour guy, and Chris.
And he's also skinnier than Britches. Like this guy is little. Yeah. Like that's the comparison I see with Worthy. They both look like they're 150 pounds wet wearing boots.
And
they Chris both Bennett, fly too. They both they fly down the field.
And one thing I've been interested in is like, and something I noted in what I saw at practice, like at least from the pure depth chart perspective, there is only one scholarship slot receiver right now, and that's Dalen McCutcheon, who's healthy. You know, Emmett Mosley, that could be a spot where he goes to. They've got Cohen Brown and Chris Stewart, Dalen McCutcheon, and Jermaine Bishop all working on the outside. Of course, they mix and match when we're not there. And I've seen some people kind of talk about like, well, why don't you just put Jermaine Bishop in the slot? And I feel like that works in a lot of offenses. It would take some tweaking for Steve Sarkisian, though, it feels like, because they ask the slot receiver to do so much as a blocker. Or at least they have when they've had guys like Whittington and DeAndre Moore.
Yeah. It's not really that different anyway. Like I tried to get into an old Alabama playbook of Sark's when I was writing an article about who will play slot receiver this year. So I get a feel for like, if you're the slot, you're going to run a little more of this route and this route. And if you're the outside guy, you're going to run more of this route and this route instead. And then what I found is like page after page of Sark concept, he'd have each play twice. And the outside guy and the slot guy would switch places in each one. And it's like, I don't even know. It's completely meaningless in his playbook. The slot versus he moves them around so much that yeah.
And that's even evidenced by the fact that just during the open portion, they throw a lot of routes on air, and it was funny when I joined you yesterday. It was this made Homer perk up. It was like, oh, Cam Coleman's running an over route from the slot. Like, yes, perfect. Like they do a whole lot of different stuff. What about maybe on the defense? There's still a lot of guys who are kind of coming in and out of
Tyler Atkinson.
That's an easy one just off the eye test. Ian, what else do you think, at least on the defensive side of the ball, that's caught your eye?
Lance Jackson being huge and Muschamp having a lot of plans for him stands out. That we were kind of anticipating that, and it's good to feel justified, and also it's exciting just to imagine what his season might hold. How thin linebacker is stands out. We'll get into that in a minute. Hopefully, we believe that Ty Anthony Smith has not actually shrunken down to 6'1", 205. But it's like how many linebackers do they have that you'd feel confident starting in a championship game or a semifinal? And it's like right now that number is like 1, right?
Yeah.
Ty Anthony Smith bumps it up to like 1.5. You know?
Yeah.
So that is that has really stood out. Like we knew that going in, and then you see it, especially with Ty Anthony Smith out, and you're like, boy, I mean, it's a linebacker. They could both get injured, and then what?
Well, I remember, just when you do a little bit of the inventory on just pure numbers there, I think even if you added Brad Spence in there and he's going to have a role that does a little bit of everything, like they have 7, I think total, 7 scholarship linebackers. That's like just enough for a 2 deep, which is just kind of jarring to me. Which is why, as Charlie Williams has written about, they've had a couple guys, not a couple guys. They've had a 2026 linebacker, on campus these past couple of days, a former ULM commit. Justin, you and I talked about him over on Recruiting Intel on Tuesday. Between any of the prospects that have made their way or any of the other details that we're getting from spring practice, and aside from Atkinson, what's 1 or 2 things that have caught your eye on spring practices so far?
Well, I mean, Des Bryant going on a tear about Jermaine Bishop was fun. I like what RT's talking about Jabbar Jalouk yesterday. That room needed some energy. They needed some boost. Chad Scott was a good coach. I think they needed a charge. And I think Jalouk is like the perfect guy for that. And so that's a big thing for me, because I think the running back positions kind of fell back to the side last year. They didn't have the guys and the ammunition in that room that they need. I think Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown kind of give them that. Derek Cooper's big. Like we knew he was going to be big, but he came big, and he's going to be needed. That's going to be an inside the tackles type kid. And so I like what the running back room looks like, and Des Bryant's loving on Jermaine Bishop. But listen, Tyler Atkinson, dude, that dude looks like $1 million. Like I'll be the one that wears it. Like I didn't know if he was going to have enough weight to play as a freshman, as a rotational guy to make an impact. I don't have those worries anymore. I think he'll have the size. I think he'll be ready. It's just a matter of, how quick he gets it before he gets on the field.
If they could find a role for Anthony Hill, granted in a different defense, which again we're going to talk about a little bit, they can find a role for Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah, a little bit different prospects. I don't think Tyler's the edge type kid, but at the same time, I think he's a see ball, hit ball, go kill ball type guy, and that works at this level.
Yeah.
You know what else is? They don't even have like a Marshall Landver or someone like that, or a Court Jakes.
Yeah.
Like an upperclassman walk on linebacker, Jet Bush.
Good point, Ian. Really.
Like if you even had one of those, that would be helpful.
A Breckenhager?
No, not a Breckenhager.
I was going to see how far I could stretch this.
Yeah, and that's just part of
Rice Taker would be nice.
Well, yes, I would take a NFL draft pick linebacker too, and that's kind of the way college football is going.
Barnes.
Yeah, well, there we are. It all comes but yeah, that is a position that is a little bit thin at this point, and you're going to talk a little bit about what Texas may be able to do as a result. 2 things. I think I mentioned this. We had videos yesterday. I popped on live, and then I had a video with Evan. Just the fact that, and I feel bad because I had everybody mentioned in my little intel piece except for the running backs assistant, because I know there is one, and I feel like he's a former like college running back who.
Yeah, that's the buddy from. That's that. Yeah, we know. Never mind. Yeah, go ahead.
Who is it, if you remember? I may task you with finding that, but I made this point yesterday. At a well-funded place like Texas, basically there are enough position coaches for a lot of individual coaching. Like they've got 4 guys.
There's more than enough.
Yeah, they've got 4 guys working with the O-line, and I'm just going to go on offense. They got 2 guys working with the running backs, Jaluk and person whose name escapes me. They've got Chris Jackson and Billy Gonzalez. They've got with wide receivers. They've got Steve Kasula and not Lance Banks, Jeff Banks. Milwee has Mike Beaumonte helping him, and then Sark. Like all these different guys have all the players have multiple guys who can offer individualized coaching, which I think is pretty darn valuable. And then on the other side, you got Will Muschamp, who's not only going to bring in a different style, but he seems to have endeared himself to just about everybody, Justin. Like we remember when he was first hired, he talked, and we had heard, actually not he talked, but we had heard that Muschamp was already, coming over in the building and talking to players, reaching out to different players to learn a little bit about what the culture was like at Texas. And also, some of the guys he needed to get in front of. And we know he even got in front of Anthony Hill. We knew Anthony Hill was going to try to make sure, or we knew Anthony Hill was heading to the NFL, but he talked with so many different defensive players to get a good understanding of what was in the building there. And it sounds like from everything guys like Colin Simmons, Grayson Littleton, Lance Jackson, Hero Canoe said yesterday that Muschamp's really done well to endear himself early to members of this program, as you would expect Will Muschamp to do.
He's putting his hands on all 11, is what we were told. He is literally getting involved in all 11 positions on the field. We haven't seen that before. It's been years since we've seen that kind of interaction. And I think that's ginormous because Will Muschamp really, he takes pride. This is his baby on that side of the ball. And he wants to be accountable. He wants to be responsible. And that means knowing every single spot. I love what Lance said. Lance said he's got him playing at like 3 or 4 different spots, which is something we actually reported a few months ago. Like this is something he's looking at. He's trying to find the best pieces and parts that he can. And the fact that he is literally jumping into every single position and helping and coaching and going through drills and things of that sort. I mean, it just shows you, it shows you that Boom is back. It shows you that it feels like he's got his next life. Like he understands exactly what he's supposed to do. Not a head coach in waiting, not worrying about that kind of stuff, just worrying about making sure that his 11 guys are ready and willing to kill. And that's been the coolest thing. The fact that he's putting his hands on all the positions on the defensive side, not just say linebacker or a defensive line.
Get to a couple comments before we go over what you wrote about, Ian, from Steve Sarcasm is Batman. So that's Jermaine Bishop. Is he turning into Devonta Smith? Yeah, that'd be great. But that was, I don't know if we're ever going to see those types of wide receiver rooms again. Not only just from the amount of talent, but from the amount, the skills and speed that those guys had. But, I think like you had said, Ian, well, okay. Yeah. Good point.
That was easy.
Yeah. Why couldn't it be that way? I'm just thinking of that 2020 room, and
because of the portal,
a little bit because of the portal, but also because it's not that room that everybody loves Sark for at Bama. And you have to give first credit to Nick Saban is, I mean, in like the way they look. Like Cam Coleman wasn't in that room. Like they didn't have a 6'3" vertical guy. They had a bunch of 5'11" to 6'1" guys who were 160 to 180 pounds. And I'm not sure what exactly it's going to look like as a unit, but I think team or position group wide, and maybe Jermaine Bishop specifically, yeah, that could be what they try to make him look like. And then Freelance Society, after seeing the team in person, is Nick Brooks still a big loss?
Yes.
O-line be fine. Yeah, because I think
Big
For all
guard, big guard. That kid could have played guard for the next 3-4 years, man. That is a loss. He wasn't going to be ready to play for another year, maybe 2 years. He was nowhere close to being ready last year. It was negligible throwing him on the field last year. But yeah, he's still going to be good. He's going to be he has the chance to be a really good guard in the league one day.
We'll see.
And yes. You can shower me with flowers because I told you fools for years he wasn't a tackle. Now people are starting to listen.
Do we know if Kalen DeBoer listened? That's what I'm curious about. Because
he went to Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh man. Woo.
That I'm
good luck.
I wonder if they're listening. Yeah, he's got the physical talent, but
and he's a good kid.
Disconnect, as you would expect a true freshman offensive line being thrown into the problem position for that offense.
Something that he didn't practice in practice. But it'll work at Ohio State. It'll work at Florida.
We'll see. We'll get to Ian, what you wrote about as far as some things to do with the defensive backs this upcoming season, especially a certain type of coverage. But before we do, got to hear a quick word from our sponsor, and that is Academy.
Oh, it's an auto worm bite, turns out.
Giant. Oh, giant.
It's a giant, so.
Oh, it's a giant! Oh, it's a giant! It's a giant!
That didn't look real, y'all.
I know. I'm trying to figure out if our friends at Academy got some video editing in the system.
Something like that. My son and I have fished a lot of times. That doesn't. I don't know, man. That thing looks like it was. That looked like that was a plastic on the wall. But I go to Academy to get all of my fishing needs.
Exactly. Speaking of, yeah. Oh man, but they were holding them real. It was who knows. I'm gonna be piecing through that little commercial from Academy.
You gotta understand, with a fish that size that he caught, that little canoe little thing it would probably not be holding up. If that thing is 5 to 10 pounds, it's gonna fight you. It's gonna take you down.
Not if you get your canoe at Academy, Justin.
Do what?
Not if you get your canoe at Academy. They got there.
If you get your new canoe at Academy, you too can learn how to run AI adjusted fishing stats.
River monster proof boats and accessories.
I'm telling you, you've got a 10-pound bass like that, or that thing is rocking. You're not just pulling that thing in like that. There's a struggle there.
River Monsters filled up a lot of my DVR back in college, so it was good mindless TV. Ian, let's get to a little bit. You talked a little when we were kind of going back and forth about how linebacker is pretty thin. Well, what isn't thin is, or maybe what isn't thin as a position group, is the corners. And that could lead to something, a little bit of a shift schematically. And right there, very first sentence, you lead it off with where Texas could look this year on defense.
Bring it, Boyd.
Man coverage. All day, man coverage. They have it. It's notable, I think, that they fought to keep all these defensive backs from transferring out. And I don't think it's just to have competitive depth.
Think they're all good. You think they're all adept at man?
Yeah, I think they all can be. Or at sliding inside. And I think they're 3 deep at corner with guys that you could be, if they went into a big game, you wouldn't be like, oh no. If they had Warren Roberson or Kobe Black or Cade Phillips, like, stop me when I mention a name where you're like, I don't feel great about that guy playing in a big game. Right?
I mean, not if it's man coverage.
Roberson gives me some pause.
Not as much in man coverage though.
No. I mean, he'll glue to you. I mean, he's going to bring you a 15-yard flag, but Warren Roberson will be like glue.
So they have like 3 safeties that are really trustworthy at this point. That number might tick up over the course of the offseason. Right now, it's like McDonald, Williams mostly, And I think we feel good about Johnson Rubel too, right?
Yes.
And then anything beyond that, it's like, maybe we'll see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we already mentioned we have, 1.5 linebackers that you feel good about. Well, the obvious, but then you have corner after corner after corner that looks good. So the obvious answer is you just play as many cornerbacks as you can.
You bring it up in the second sentence, and I'm not trying to go too granular, but Muschamp's always built his defenses around man coverage, dating way back to his time as a former Nick Saban assistant, and certainly including his last tenure at Texas in the late 2010s. And I think if you remember what Muschamp's career arc has been, it has been as a Saban assistant, dating back to LSU. I don't think they overlapped at Alabama, but he was with them on the Dolphins. And I think when when Nick went back to Bama, Will went to Auburn, and Texas plucked Will Muschamp from Auburn. And I remember somehow my dad put a message board in front of me. It's like, look at this Auburn board. Look how mad they are. We got Will Muschamp. But Will Muschamp and Kirby Smart, where he's also been Nick Saban guys. And Nick Saban has one of my favorite quotes in football, and it is, the best coverage in ball is cover one.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the Belichickian influence, as you talk about. And that's, cover one is a form of basically man everywhere, but with a deep safety. And that seems like the defense that you're going to watch. I don't want to say advocating. Actually, I will say you think is going to be the best fit for all the different guys that they have.
I think it'll be a big piece of the puzzle. They have the guys for it. It makes life easier for everybody else. If you just say, hey, we're playing man coverage everywhere, well, it just frees you up to do a lot of different things.
With super accountability.
Super accountability for sure. Yeah. There's another fun quote from back in the day in 2009 when Mike Gundy was getting peppered with questions after Texas obliterated the Cowboys in Stillwater, I think.
It was 2009, the Curtis Brown pick-6 game.
They just obliterated them. And Mike Gundy was at the podium after the game, and he's like, they're playing man with NFL corners. I don't know what you want. It's like, I don't know what you want me to do. And he would be vindicated when it was like Earl Thomas, all these guys that would play in the NFL. His summary was basically like, we can't do anything. There's nothing we can do. Everyone that we would want to throw the ball to is covered in man by a future pro.
Zach Robinson was a good quarterback too.
Yeah, they were never bad at offense under Mike Gundy.
No.
I mean, one off maybe here or there. So the roster to me looks like this is a man coverage roster, and this is a play as many defensive backs as you can roster, specifically corners.
And you reason that it's not only the fact that you've got Cade Phillips, Grayson Littleton, Bo Masco, Warren Roberson, Wardell Mack, even some of the freshmen, Samari Matthews. You have all these guys, and we saw Torrey Davis, even on his film, he was pretty adept in coverage as well from a safety spot. But you've also just got a little bit of a problem, as we were talking about, with linebacker, to where, okay, how do we accentuate these guys' skill sets? And at the same time, by accentuating those defensive back skill sets, you're covering up a little bit some of the inefficiencies you have at linebacker.
Yeah, there's two ways you can do it. You can take them off the field and just play defensive backs in place of linebackers. Or you can, with man coverage and cover one in particular, you can man up all the receivers, play maybe Derek Williams back, and then you drop Jelani McDonald down into the box. And you the way to make any job in football easier is you increase the number of people who are responsible for doing it. So
Can
like
you
if you're
explain that one?
if you're weak at linebacker, then you just need to play more of them, or you need to play safeties that play next to them, and then you just divvy up the tasks into more compartmentalized roles. So the linebacker, it's like, I can't do this and this and this. It's like, okay, we're going to cut that list in half, and we're going to have another player right next to you that's going to do the other half.
In what you're advocating with Jelani, it's not spinning him down to star, because we've not seen
Spinning him down to linebacker.
Yes, spinning him down to linebacker or just a box safety behind the line, just next to the linebackers. The thing with big nickel, like Texas may do that some this year with Jelani or with Johnson Rubel, but if you play big nickel with this team, you're leaving these corners off the field, which doesn't really do you that many favors. Like you'd rather play with as many of these corners. You want to try to find ways to play with 4, I think, when you can.
Really?
Certainly not less than 3.
Really? On a regular basis, or just
On a regular basis. I would want to play 3 cornerbacks at all times.
You have a lot of faith in these DBs, brother.
Well, every receiver that they put on the field, or every receiver adjacent tight end, put a cornerback across from him. And then see how easy a time they have finding guys to throw to, with your safeties freed up in the middle of the field to do whatever you want them to do.
You know who did this pretty well? The Houston Texans.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL, this is more common in the NFL.
Right. But this now that I think of it, like, this was kind of the Texans' approach this year. They would always have let me see if I can get everybody right. They had Stingley, they had Petrie, and then Lassiter. You know, you trust those guys playing man coverage. Petrie's just to do everything.
Yeah.
And then I think they had, I forget the other safety's name, but he was always, doing a little bit of man coverage, but always playing that back end. And the linebackers were pretty good for the Texans, but they weren't anything special. And then you also, kind of like Texas, had terrors on the edge and good defensive linemen who are able to hold their own pretty much everywhere else, to where playing all those defensive backs, and they did not, disguise a whole lot. And you can disguise some in man, but you got to be in the right spot. Like, that's kind of what the Texans did. And look how far it took them until their quarterback lost his mind.
Yeah, until he lost his mind, until he was exposed as a fraud.
Maybe to everybody else, but not to you.
I would even consider like any of the guys that have played at nickel, like Grayson Littleton, Wardell Mack. Who else has repped there? Has maybe
Masco.
That's
So
JJR.
the other day, Will Muschamp. If you notice, I talked about all the different position groups that have multiple assistant coaches. There's nobody like last year who had the Nichols coach title like Kenodo Hudson did. Well, we saw during the practice window, and then Grayson Littleton talked about it yesterday, Muschamp, excuse me, is the one working with the stars. And I posted a clip of it. Like, he is working one-on-one. And the other day it was Masco, Littleton, and Mack. Like, that is going to be a position that he treats as his own, or very much treats kind of like his own, it seems like, this upcoming season.
Well, I mean, imagine, let's say that, what if they played Phillips and Masco outside at corner, and then Wardell Mack and Littleton at nickel and safety, and then you still had McDonald out there behind them. Why not?
A lot of good coverage.
Yeah, you can just put the clamps on people doing that. I mean, that's what the 24 team was really good at, was because Jalen Gilbo and I've already forgotten our Makuba were corner type players.
Yeah.
and they weren't even as good a corners as these guys.
You're right.
So that's what you can just really make life hard.
So the one thing, and maybe we can get to this in a second, that I'm thinking about, or actually there are a couple things. One fits right now. And I talked about this, I think, on the radio the other day. Think about what Texas is facing offense-wise, and this kind of comes in from Ryan Nelson. This strategy to man up looks great against lesser teams on our schedule. And it may look more dominant than PK's defense against bad teams, but I worry against better teams. Also, think of all the different variety Texas is going to see. You're going to have veer and shoot, Ohio State pro offense, Texas spread, and then you're going to get air raid, veer and shoot, the like the Buster Faulkner offense. You're going to get more veer and shoot. You're getting a wide variety for all these on your schedule of the types of offenses you're going to face. Even with some of that variety, is this something that can apply across the board?
Yeah. So scroll down a little bit to the Bill Belichick section. Yeah, that's it. So the way that Bill Belichick would do this is he would have as many man coverage defenders as he needed, and he would play as many as you had receivers until it got to the point where his big box safety, which would be like a Rodney Harrison or a Patrick Chung, would be lined up on like the tight end. And then he'd have big versatile linebackers like their current head coach, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel was 6'4", 270. He ran a 4.9 340. He had a 29.5-inch vertical leap. Not like
he caught touchdown passes too.
He caught a couple of them.
He got a bunch of them. Yeah, but not like a space player, right?
Correct.
No.
Just big, strong, tough, and smart. And when he was gone, they had a million more just like him. And the trick was they could move. They would get big, smart, versatile, tough guys in the box. And then they would use man coverage to be like, we're going to change up what you do in the box from week to week to stuff whatever it is the other team wants to do. But we're going to protect you every week from having to play coverage. So you can do that with like Colin Simmons, Rasheem Biles, Lance Jackson, right? And you and Jelani McDonald. And it's like, hey guys, you're just not going to have to worry about coverage this week. The corners are going to race all of that. Derek Williams will stay back over the top. And we're just going to put you guys week to week wherever we need to stuff whatever this particular team is trying to do.
And Justin, what this Texas team has from a physical presence standpoint that those Patriots teams also had? I'll give you a hint. He was right in front of the football every play.
They have a nose.
Oh, yeah. They got
two of them.
Eating nose. I'm not saying that.
Go ahead.
These guys aren't going to be Vince Wilfork, but they're going to play that type of role to help, the front part of all this operation work as successfully as the back end.
I like to see Wilfork standing beside Ian Gerard and Zion Williams. Like, because, Vince was like two people. Vince was not one. He was two people. They found the perfect guy for what they wanted to do. I like that, Joe. I like that comp because, I didn't think about that in that regard. I was going off Teddy Bruschi, thinking about Jamie Collins and Jamie Sharper and stuff like that, Willie McGinnis, and then it hit me. Man, they've got NFL size 3 techs waiting that knows.
And why are we talking about Patriots and some of the best defenses ever? That's not
because Ian is a gigantic New England Patriots guy.
We're not saying that you're going to see a similar product, but you're going to see it. You're going to see a similar style because Belichick, Saban, Smart, Muschamp, it all flows down, and it's even though it has evolved, it is going to look a lot like what powered some of these best defenses.
And Muschamp in particular is more in the man coverage side of this tree with Belichick than is like some of the Georgia guys or some of the other guys you'll find around in college football. Muschamp has always believed in more man coverage.
Especially compared to, I'm trying to think of other Georgia tree guys. I mean, you got the big one's Dan Lanning. And I'm not
Lanning
exactly
has been a little more.
How much of Glenn Schumann and Will Muschamp, how much their things are similar and unalike?
Yeah, I think that even some of the 3-down stuff that we've talked a lot about may end up having. I'm less convinced the further we get into spring practice that Texas is going to be as heavy into the 3-down mint stuff as Georgia was.
Georgia seemed to have to. They did that as a result of just not having an edge terror this past year. It felt like.
I think
the manufacturer blitz.
No, I think that's just what they. I think that's just what they believe in.
More so.
I think Muschamp. We'll see. But he may be a little more of a 4-down believer and a man coverage believer.
So my question,
I'd be okay with 4-down.
This paragraph touches on it, but I think one of the concerns, and I think a lot of our readers who read what you write about coverage first, which is what defense, or you go back to front these days in building your defense, and you align your front with your coverage, not your coverage with your front. I think I said that right. And you have a suggestion here of like, okay, if you want to play Ty Anthony Smith at 220, go ahead. But if you're trying to play coverage, why not put Jordan Johnson-Rubel there? The easy counter and the question I bet a lot of people have is like, all right, well, what if it's 2nd and 7 and it's time to run the ball? Like, what happens then? Do you just flood numbers because you have a single high look, or is like how are you accounting for running the ball on kind of standard down and distance?
You could. The question is just how much more are you getting from your linebackers than you get from your safeties in dime? Like, are they really? How much better are they really? And if it's not that much better, or not better at all, then it's like, what's the point? Just play a safety and be more versatile and fast around the box. But I think they'll probably play 2 linebackers most of the time, and we'll see what, Boswell or Cummings or Atkinson or somebody can do. But on 3rd down, any kind of passing down, there's really no reason why they shouldn't just be in dime.
I think Cryer, Ian, I think Cryer is going to be a kid that they rely on. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to give them some juice.
I think he's going to be someone who.
I mean, he mentioned a bunch of freshmen, and I actually think Cryer is further along than most of those.
Yeah. Cryer is a perfect example of why you want to play as many coverage people on the field as you possibly can.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to watch Justin Cryer become a superstar, but I think we're going to see him be
he'll shoot it out.
Nominally, No, I agree, but I don't think he's going to be like the superstar of this defense.
No. We had named some guys, and I'm like, Don't forget a couple of these transfer guys, portal guys. Cryer was a guy I was forgetting until a couple of days ago when I'd gotten some feedback about how he had looked in practice. And so I think Cryer was somebody that we need to mention. And not to mention he's got great family genes. That kid's an athlete.
Yeah. Before we keep going, kind of show what it looks like on the chalkboard, got to hear from Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results. Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
So you talk about some of the options Texas has in playing a lot of man coverage. This is cover 1 on the screen. And this also illustrates the other concern I was bringing up, not only the stylistic one, but a lot of the concerns that you have written about over the past 5 weeks or so, and that's running quarterbacks. And I think any running quarterback, any offensive coordinator will tell you that as soon as you see the nameplates on the jerseys, you tuck and run. How do you – I mean, are you relying on your front four to be sound in order to maybe pin that in? Or maybe what are some other things that you can look
Better
for
not.
to possibly, assuage those concerns?
That's pretty much it.
Who's
And
going to be the spy?
that's the give and take of defense, though.
Who's the spy linebacker in this bunch?
Well, if the
You're going to need one.
you can't spy if everyone goes out into coverage.
Oh,
You
this is that just gave me heartburn.
You just
You
tell.
realize how many dual threat quarterbacks you're going to face in college this year?
I know. I've written on it.
Oh, buddy.
There's 3 answers for that. One is you tell your edges and your tackles don't run past the quarterback.
God, that's so hard for them to do, though.
They can. It's
a technical kind of thing, but yeah, they can.
It makes it harder to beat your guy.
It's almost impossible to beat your guy, but what it does is it keeps the quarterback a little sturdy for maybe another second or two.
Yep. You can do that, but you need to have everybody in coverage. So maybe you can hold up for another second.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is you rush 3 and spy with one of the edges. And then there's option 3. Don't overlook option 3, which is DGAF. Let's see if they can run faster than Colin Simmons can chase them.
Yeah, I don't want Colin Simmons running 40s the whole game. I don't want him
He's got-
chasing a guy from behind the whole game. I want him initiating that pressure. I want him forcing the quarterback into mistakes. And that Bulldog, I'm about to get.
It's really hard to get away from Colin Simmons, and I'm not too worried about him running a bunch of 40s because they can always roll in Umeozulu and Vasic and Orogbo and Wesley, So also on 3rd down, Muschamp is going to play like Lance Jackson and then all edges.
Right.
So
We're going to see the normal 3rd down packages and stuff.
Rabbits.
But these will be the
Rabbits.
coverages that make it up.
Yeah,
This is a good one.
I think they're going to make quarterbacks prove that they can actually run away from this pass rush.
This one, how much double mugging are they going to do? I feel like it's going to be something they bring up from time to time. But again, you can have all these pre-snap looks, and they can all still feed into the same post-snap scheme, regardless of what you got.
I remember there was a telling quote, and this was a long time ago, so things may be a little different because they didn't have as many like simulated blitzes back then. But when Manny Diaz took over, Keenan Robinson and Manny Acho were asking him, they had this quote where they were asking him like about their pre-snap alignment. Because they were used to Muschamp telling them, you be exactly 3 yards by 4 yards off of this receiver or whatever. And everything was extremely precise and dialed in. And if you didn't do it, you would get Coach Boom in your ear, right? And then you're still muted, Justin, because you're a dog.
See, that's what you get.
And
Do
then,
your job too, Rubble. We both need to do our job.
when it was Diaz, they would ask Diaz, like, well, do I need to be here alignment? And Diaz would tell them, like, you can come out of a helicopter if you just make the play. I don't care.
Yeah.
But so we're getting back to
So we don't have a spy per se, ideally, for the 2026 season when on the schedule of 13 games, 14 games, you're going to see 10 dual threats. Oh, that makes me feel so warm and fuzzy.
Hey, that's the give and take of defense.
Ian's over here. Ian's over here like, it's going to work.
You
it's
do have
gonna
another
work a lot.
He's like the Godfather over here. It's going to work.
You do have another option here for some of the man coverage. And and it's a lot of double coverage, assigning safeties to players. I feel like this could be maybe a little bit more of the Ohio State tactic. It's tough.
Yeah, it'd be good if they had. I would want to play a blend against Ohio State.
Right.
So wherever Jeremiah Smith is, that safety brackets him, and then the other safety put him where he can get to the box, because I guarantee Ohio State is going to come in and try to bully Texas and run the ball.
And I guess a little bit of a positive here is while Julian Sayin can move, he's not a runner.
Julian Sayin is not going to get away from. He's not getting away from Colin Simmons.
No.
He's not getting away from Rasheem Biles.
Julian Sayin isn't running away from his younger sister. I'm not worried about him out of the pocket.
There was actually, if you go rewatch the 08 game against Sam Bradford scrambled for first downs 2 different times early in the game because Texas turned their backs to him. And then Muschamp was like, that's great. Do that all day. We'll take our chances. And we all saw how it worked out.
Brutal.
Only 35 points. But again, that was one of the best offenses of all time.
That's one of the best football games we've seen in 30 years. Come on.
They just got outmatched by
that might have been the 2 best teams in college football that year.
They just got outplayed by one of the other best offenses of all time. Getting back to the article, if I can. There we go. That's the bracket. You mentioned, as you'd already mentioned, the Mike Brable aspect of it. When you get to the box part of it, though, and I think this also fills in on a question from Ryan Nelson. I'm guessing Justice Terry and Lance Jackson look like what Georgia has had. Are they going to be unleashed? These are 2 first-round types. Justin, the fact that he asked Lance Jackson to get up to 270, I think shows that they have big plans for him. And I think Pete Kwiatkowski, if he were still here, was going to have big plans for Lance Jackson as well, playing that jack position. But they're going to ask Lance to show his strength a lot during this upcoming season, maybe more so than showing his athleticism.
I think it's going to be equal parts both. I was going to go in that direction because I think that you don't want him too big because you still want that twitch. Like he actually has some athleticism and some twitch that guys his size just don't have. He has some change of direction, and I think that's one thing he's going to get better at. I thought he got caught in the wash quite a bit last year, obviously first year, but Lance is just that moldable piece of clay that, you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with him. And honestly, 270, that's kind of what we thought he was going to be. Like, I think he's maximized at 280, 285, and that might be another year away. But keeping him 270, you're still going to see how good his feet are. You're going to see how good his balance is, his body control. This is a year, we saw what Lance could be last year. This year, we're going to see more of that. I'm so eager because I think Muschamp he knows he's got 7 or 8 certified dudes on this roster on the defensive side of the ball that if he does his job right, those guys are going early in the draft.
You know how I normally do that thing where I zero consequences pluck a player off another team just to add them to Texas at some point in the offseason? I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to have to add some good linebackers when I go through that exercise.
I could have told you that 3 months ago.
True. And that's what we thought they might. And they did add quite a few linebackers in the transfer portal, but one of the things I always like to look at is, what is it? The franchise tag numbers. Linebacker franchise tag numbers trend way behind defensive ends and quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's for a reason. Because what is it? The average of the top 5 salaries or something like that.
Linebacker and running back aren't going to be anywhere near close to that. What linebacker do you want to take? Is it the Sammy Brown kid from Clemson? Who are you wanting to pluck and just put him in Austin right now?
That'd be a good one.
The only one I know off the top of my head that would work would probably be Whit Weeks.
Man, I don't know if that would work.
But I'm
He would play.
one of the Auburn guys. One of the guys at
One
Auburn
of the
retained.
Auburn guys. Actually, that's a good guess.
One of the guys at Auburn retained. I forget his name. But
They were so good on defense last year.
yeah. Well, yeah.
No, they were. They were for
Ryan Nelson says
they had a SEC title defensive side of the ball.
And they had Jackson Arnold at quarterback.
Exactly.
yes, I was gonna Justin Williams or Chris Cole at Georgia, both good. Justin Williams came from Texas.
That was my crush.
That would have been great if he had jumped in the portal and maybe if Muschamp could have convinced him to come.
And that
But
wasn't going to happen because Justin Williams' biggest connection to Georgia was Glenn Schumann.
Yeah.
Schumann was literally making one of the trips I went to go see him at Conroe Oak Ridge. Schumann showed up to that one as well. And so they weren't going to let him. Plus, they got him in on the field last year. He got some impactful snaps and kind of got to where, Georgia, that depth that they have year after year on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Williams, my gosh, I would have paid good money to see that kid get in the portal. But Schumann and Kirby are not stupid. They weren't going to let that happen.
This was the name I was looking for, Xavier Atkins. Like, that's who I would pluck from Auburn and add.
He's like the quintessential Auburn linebacker.
Right. And I think that was
Cade
they
Uluwave
wanted.
would have been good.
Who would have?
Cade Uluwave. I can't believe he's at BYU.
Yeah.
They are loaded at linebacker. They
They-
lost a really good one, and they still have more.
That BYU, not to get too far off a tangent, like that's going to be another quality BYU team that probably competes with Tech.
Yep.
So I again, like it's kind of indicative whenever I do that exercise every year of like, okay, where are the holes on this team? Like I remember, I think it was either last year or the year before, I picked Deontay Lawson from Bama, and it was like, yeah, that's who you need to grab. You need that thumper linebacker, and I think that'd be a good pick. That may be something I work on for this weekend because that's always a fun little exercise. Who I would take from either the schedule or from an SEC team.
You put Sammy Brown in this team, Texas winning the national championship.
Sammy Brown would help a lot. I would take my chances with Bear Bachmeier converting the linebacker over the offseason.
Remember that thing I was telling you about franchise tag numbers between middle linebacker and then quarterback? I don't know.
He's not a quarterback.
He's a running back who throws.
You know what? He's
a linebacker that throws.
I wrote about him a little bit on my Substack, americaswargame.substack.com. I was talking about BYU.
Those are awesome reads. You got
I was talking about BYU the other day, and his interception and sack rates were both remarkably low, especially for a guy that is like so reckless with his body. He is not reckless with the football.
That's probably why he got the job.
I think that was because he got thrown into a situation because
because some kid wanted to not abide by the Mormon religion.
Yeah, he did New Orleans partying in Provo, Utah. And then he went to New Orleans as a result. Jake Retzlaff. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Well, anything else to add on this one, Ian, or are we just
we
gonna
hit
get
it in a roundabout way? We hit everything in a roundabout way. Maybe just that Ohio State, I don't think this has been like just an amazing model for how to play super high level defense, but for about a decade now, Ohio State's strategy almost every year has been some variation of play man coverage with the lead athletes and then blitz the crap out of the other team with big athletes in the box. And they just overwhelm like 90% of their schedule doing that. Texas has the guys to do the exact same thing this year. And with Muschamp's brain, maybe they can be good against the other 5 to 10% of teams as well.
The one thing
isn't it the gap that Sark's kind of trying to close?
In
10%.
And to that point, like there's a lot of members of the national media who, and I think we do it a fair amount, but we also have to, I don't want to say filter it because that's not the case, but excuse me, do it in the correct doses. everybody liked Pete Kwiatkowski. Like, he's put together pretty good defenses, but like a lot of the national voices I tend to track, they're like, "Oh, you replace him with Will Muschamp? Yeah, good call. That's going to work. Like, it'll make sense." So I think that speaks just to what you're talking about. Like, this is a move made in the effort to go from good to great. So, anything else? Anything y'all want to touch on? I do want to get maybe one kicker mention.
I was about to say, who is the kicker? Only Joe Cook knows.
No, it's Gianni Spedic. I'm pretty sure he has the
You've told me
Croatian seal
4 or 5
tattooed
times.
on his forearm.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that many consonants in a name, he's from the Balkans. So I don't know. I did see Mac Chiumentu and Mikey Bukowski's punt, and it looked okay. That's about all you can ask for punting. So that's going well. But we'll see.
I want to see
on
Mikey Bukakis take that spot. Take that job.
We'll see. He'll get it next year. But other than that, specialist-wise, if you hear nothing, that's good news.
That's great news if you hear nothing.
This is probably a good idea.
It's a Croatian name. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
But he's from like Ohio. So
Like Vlade Divac.
or Stipe Miocic. Long time.
Or the
heavyweight.
Illinois
Drazen Petrovic.
or the Illinois basketball team this year. They're like all Eastern Europeans. Ian, I think this is a good one to get out on. How would this strategy work against Texas offense
Great.
this coming year?
Yeah, it would.
I think it's great until you're taking your chances on jump balls. But then the bracket comes into play.
Yeah, you can mix in. Yep. That's like the question for this offense is when they play a team that can play like
An
Too
Arch
deep.
Manning.
too deep, man. Can Texas run the ball consistently? I don't know.
Sounds like a storyline to track throughout the spring. You know where we'll be doing that? We'll be doing that over on Inside Texas. So use that first link in our description. Use that QR code at the top left of the screen. Sign up for just 50% off the annual subscription price. You'll get not only the best team insight, but Justin, you'll get some recruiting insight as well, as Texas, even though it is not a practice day, they're still got some guys on campus. And I'll have some guys on campus tomorrow as well. Any big ones to note?
Peyton Miller, your center take for the class of 2027 out of Anna High School in Anna, Texas. He's on campus right now. He was there bright and early. This kid loves the Horns. Watch Oklahoma a little bit. Watch Texas Tech. I think the Red Raiders are going to be their main competition there. But no, I really like Texas in that one. I think they can wrap this up in the next few months. There's one other one. KJ Green, big edge out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Does anyone know who else is from Stone Mountain, Georgia?
No.
Kenneth Parcell from 30 Rock is from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Now where I was gonna go. I was like 24 blue chip athletes over the last 10 years.
And you know who actually created his character was a writer named Donald Glover, who's also a musician, Childish Gambino. He actually created Kenneth's part. He's like, let's lean into the Stone Mountain part because that's where he's actually from. And so those are both noteworthy. KJ Green's a dude. Okay. Yeah. And Texas offers like 20 kids in the state of Georgia every year now. With Most Champion, I think that number is going to increase by a little bit. So there's some good ones. And listen, we posted a visitor list. We've got 4 or 5 new names popping in tomorrow, Joe. And a couple of them are significant. So I think those are things you got to check out at InsideTexas.com. And I want to leave on one other note. I found out why Arch Manning is wearing a visor. Do either one of you guys want to chime in on why?
Did Warby Parker make it?
No.
Prescription? Should.
No.
Why is Arch Manning wearing a visor?
Because the DBs and linebackers cannot see his eyes.
Oh.
He will be able to hide what he's looking at.
Okay.
If you've ever played safety in high school and you go across a quarterback with a visor, you can't see their eyes. The glare, the gleam, it doesn't matter if it's a dark shade, a color shade, or a clear. You from the glare and everything that's going on, you can't read their eyes. Arch Manning's playing chess, guys. He's playing chess. This kid, you're not going to know where he's looking or where that ball is going. This was a strategic move.
If I'm a defender, I'm like spitting or smearing mud in his face any chance I get.
Trying to get that helmet dirty.
You got to tackle him first, Boyd.
You know, like
I'm not going to tackle Arch Manning, obviously.
I know you can't, but Liam Boyd can take him down. So just for future reference.
Yeah.
hey, sounds like an all-in team to me. Ian,
Justin, can I give you more work real quick? You got
What?
enough on your plate? You got enough on your plate, or can I give you another assignment
Is this for Joe or Justin?
for you, for Justin?
Oh, give it to me, Ian. Come on, what we got?
I watched the Texas basketball team last night, and I need an update on which guards we're gonna get in the transfer portal, so I don't have to watch this crap for another 10 years. I'm so sick of not having good guards.
so
All I can
It's
tell
like
you
I
is
always
this.
want to give basketball a chance, and every time I do, I'm
I know. They
I'm
had
terrible.
a really good guard last year in Trey Johnson, who's filling it up for the Washington Wizards. I think he gets
I'm
about 14.
I'm like a lead guard.
I know. Listen. Austin Gooseby.
I thought he was
That's
good.
He's a point guard. He's a 6'6" point guard.
Oh,
2-guard combo, but he runs point.
okay.
They're going to get more of those kind of guard, those type
I
of
need
guards.
transfers too. I need some.
Well,
senior-
it's college basketball, so there's only 4,000 of those. So I can't give you any names right now, but
Okay.
I'll work on that. That's a
I
homework.
need to be
assignment.
reassured. I need to be
I'll-
reassured.
But I'm going to tell you what, Sean Miller's going to bring in some more guards in this offseason. I have zero doubt about that.
I'll give you the basketball minute real fast because
Here we go.
I was texting with Keenan about this earlier. And I've long held that Texas and Sean Miller goes, okay, do I want to get 12 new guys or do I want to keep 4 and then go get 8 new guys? He kept Tremont Mark, Kendall Weaver, Jordan Pope, and Nick Cody. Mark, Weaver, Pope, who did a lot of ball handling for this team, they're out of eligibility. So those guards are gone. Dalen Swain, probably going to the NBA. So there's 4.
Who get drafted?
You bring in Gooseby, who's number 26 overall in the country, Bo Ogden, shooter, Joe Sterling, shooter.
They're bringing
you
in
gotta-
some shooters, Joe.
They're bringing in shooters. So those are 4 guys right there. They don't really have any developmental point guards on the roster in the pipeline.
I think that is a good sign.
So yeah, and so you're probably going to see lead guard be the primary focus of this basketball portal cycle.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing with basketball is like there are some guys where I'm thinking like, oh, they'll bring him back and the deadline's coming, and then he says, you know what, I'm entering the portal. So it's going to be fluctuating. But like lead guards, in addition to a playmaker like Gooseby, and then some shooters like, you know, Sterling and Ogden, and then, you know, you fill out the rest of a team as well. I think the flaws on this roster that Sean Miller accepted by limiting his offseason workload have come to fruition. The schedule also got tougher, so I think water found its level. They just also, I would be more concerned about the defense because they can score pretty well, but they can't stop anybody from scoring, and that's what's going to stop them.
They're not going to score in the tournament. As soon as they play a team that can defend with ball pressure, it's going to look like last night.
It'll be a play-in game.
Yeah, and they might lose it.
Hey, Sugar Poppy, we always love having you here, but don't bring in this stuff right here. I don't think you understand how good Italy is. I didn't understand how good Italy was. Collapse? What do you mean a collapse? You got taken to the woodshed and absolutely throttled by people that can't even make enchiladas and chimichangas and quesadillas. Come on, man. I'd be embarrassed, Sugar Poppy. I really would. Honestly, Italy has got some dudes. They're going to make a run at this thing, guys.
The Italian Americans.
They have got a bunch of guys that are young, good players in baseball. And so I like USA's chances. I like Japan's chances, but don't say that Mexico messed up or collapsed. What are you talking about?
Ian,
And they did it in Houston. That was a home game.
Ian, real quick, what's coming on the deep dive at noon?
A little more of the same. Some spring impressions, roster imbalance on defense, what that means, and some notes on offense. A little quick, quick hitter. It's a good one. It's fun.
Should be a lot of fun. Again, make sure you go to Inside Texas.
Deep dive.
We're talking all this over at Inside Texas. It's going to be a lot of fun over the next couple weeks. Team has one more practice on Friday, and then they go off for spring break, and then they'll be back at it with some more practices, more visitors, March Madness, baseball conference play starting. Should be a lot of fun. So, Ian, thank you. Justin, thank you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.